हेलो फ्रेंड्स, वेलकम टू हरिओम कंसल्टेंट्स। हाउ एवरीथिंग इज़ फाइन एट योर एंड। तो फ्रेंड्स, ये वीडियो बन रहा है वर्क एंड हॉलीडे के एक्सटेंशन को लेके। जो जॉब्स पैकेज हमने पिछले वीडियो में हम यहाँ आई बटन पे आपको दे देंगे कि अगले साल के लिए आपको 462 वीज़ा एक्सटेंड कैसे करवाना है। तो जिनको नहीं मालूम है तो पूरा वीडियो एंड तक ज़रूर देखें। हम पहले ब्रीफ में बताएंगे कैसे एक्सटेंड करना है। तो उसमें जॉब पैकेज जो हम अवेलेबल करवा रहे हैं विद आवर ऑस्ट्रेलियन पार्टनर्स, उससे रिलेटेड काफ़ी लोगों की क्वेरीज़ हैं, कुछ डाउट्स हैं। तो इस वीडियो में वन ऑफ एस्पायरेंट जो ले चुके हैं पैकेज, ही इज़ अबाउट टू मूव टू ऑस्ट्रेलिया ऑन दिस जॉब पैकेज। तो उन्होंने कुछ क्वेश्चंस हमारे इस मीटिंग में विद ऑस्ट्रेलियन पार्टनर्स एज ए एप्लीकेंट किए। तो आई एम डेफिनेटली श्योर दैट आपके पास भी वो क्वेश्चन आपके माइंड में होंगे। तो वो हम सारा जो एक तरह से पॉडकास्ट है जिसमें सारा वो एप्लीकेंट भी हैं, ऑस्ट्रेलियन पार्टनर्स भी हैं और मैं भी हूँ, तो पूरा डिस्कशन आप देख सकते हैं जिससे आपके डाउट्स क्लियर हो जाएंगे। तो स्टार्ट करते हैं आज का वीडियो। होप आपका भी ये डाउट इस वीडियो के बाद क्लियर हो जाएंगे कि कैसे उसको एक्सटेंड करना है, कैसे एसेंशियल जॉब्स लेनी है। तो सबसे पहले तो क्लैरिफाई आपको ये कर दिया जाए कि अगर आपने वर्क एंड हॉलीडे वीज़ा आपको मिल गया है और उसके बाद अगर आपको नेक्स्ट ईयर के लिए एक्सटेंड करवाना है तो एसेंशियल जॉब्स आपको करनी पड़ेंगी मिनिमम 3 मंथ्स के लिए। और जो हम जॉब पैकेज आपको दिलवा रहे हैं विद ऑस्ट्रेलियन पार्टनर्स, जो आपको फार्मिंग जॉब्स का है बेसिकली, एंड इट इज़ वन ऑफ द बेस्ट वन बिकॉज 24/7 थ्रू आउट द ईयर फार्मिंग जॉब्स अवेलेबल रहती हैं। तो ये आपको इसमें प्रोग्राम के अंदर पूरी ट्रेनिंग देंगे। मल्टीपल टाइप्स ऑफ फार्मिंग जॉब्स हैं जिसके लिए हमने एक एक्सप्लेनेटरी वीडियो भी बनाया था कि किस तरह की जॉब्स हैं। तो वो भी आपको वहाँ देखने को मिल जाएगा, आपको आई बटन पे दे देंगे एंड यू कैन चेक आवर प्लेलिस्ट। तो वो जो जॉब्स अगर आपने करनी है तो पहले आपको ट्रेनिंग देंगे, ट्रेनिंग लेने के बाद आपको जॉब ऑफ़र की जाएगी एंड इस जॉब्स के बेसिस पे आपका नेक्स्ट ईयर का एक्सटेंशन हो जाएगा। इफ़ यू आर इंटरेस्टेड इन दिस जॉब यू कैन कंटिन्यू विद दिस जॉब थ्रू आउट 3 years बिकॉज इट वन ऑफ द एसेंशियल जॉब्स, और इसको करने से आपका एक्सटेंशन का प्रॉब्लम भी हट जाएगा और इट कैन डेफिनेटली लीड टू सेटलमेंट ऑप्शंस ऑल्सो। ठीक है, तो ये तो हो गया ओवरव्यू कि एसेंशियल जॉब्स क्यों करनी है, एक्सटेंशन के लिए करनी है, और उसमें से वन ऑफ देम इज़ फार्मिंग जॉब्स जो कि ये आपको अवेलेबल करवाएंगे ऑस्ट्रेलियन पार्टनर्स। तो अब हम आपको दिखाते हैं डिटेल डिस्कशन। तो क्या क्या उनके दिमाग में सवाल थे एप्लीकेंट के, उसने पूछे और उन्होंने बड़े तसल्ली से एक्सप्लेनेटरी तरीके से समझाया। राइट, तो पूरा आप डिस्कशन देखिए, इट इज़ इन द इंग्लिश। इसके बाद मैं आपको ब्रीफ्स हिंदी में, जिनको इंग्लिश में इतना नहीं पता लगा, तो इसके बाद मैं आपको एक समरी दे दूंगा। हेलो मैम।
Hello, I'm here.
How are you, ma'am? Hello, Mr. Himanshu. How are you?
Hi, sir. I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. How are
Yeah,
you?
I'm fine. So we have Mrs. Joanna with us. So, ma'am, he is Mr. Himanshu. He is interested and he has sent all the details to you. Now he has some questions. Please, you can ask Mr. Himanshu.
Hi, Joanna. I hope you're doing good.
Yeah, good. Thank you very much. Right. What are your questions?
So mainly the questions were, it's like the most of the part. Like, how long is this training for? Like,
The training is for the first 10 days. So you're with us for 4 days in Brisbane and
Okay.
5 days on the farm, and then you go to your job.
Okay. So, I was told that this was for 20 days around. So that was my main question. That is it just for 10 days or just for like more than 10 days?
So the first 10 days is the training.
Okay.
And after that, you are working.
Okay, got it. Okay, so let's say, I don't have any, like the main question is I don't have any farm experience beforehand. Okay, so I have mainly worked in a corporate job altogether in my life. So what if, let's say after 10 days, I'm no employer or nothing happens after 10 days, then what will be the scenario?
Well,
I'm being positive enough that, yeah, I will get, it's not that I'm being negative with something.
after 10 days, you will be offered a job, or you might be offered to stay on the farm for another week to get more experience. That
Okay.
is possible. But you're young and you're fit and you're intelligent. So you should be able to learn everything you need to learn in 5 days on the farm.
Okay. Got it. Thank you so much for that. And also, like I have a Indian driving license. So, will anyone help me getting any international or the Australian one
You
or
don't need an Australian one, you don't need an international one. You can drive in Australia on your Indian driving license.
okay, fair enough. So, like this $23-24 per let's say I was told that $23-24 I think is the minimum wage over there. So it's like
20,
after all the tax deductions or any
yeah,
accommodation facilities,
tax is 15%
15% is the tax.
is the tax, yes.
Okay,
You
okay.
are unlikely to have the minimum wage,
Um,
but because of your age. But it just depends which farmer you choose, because they could choose any day hourly rate between 24 and 30.
Hey, got it. Thank you so much for that. And also, this, what you say, this will be any other farms throughout the Australia, not just yours, right?
Sorry?
The farms that are throughout the Australia, like not particular to one.
No, the whole of Australia.
Yeah, I got it. Hmm, that's okay. So will I get any choice to even choose from, or like you will just provide me one job and I have to accept it?
So it just depends. It depends when you come and what hard work you have shown and how you have learned new things on the training farm. It all depends on you.
Got it.
If you
So,
have
Mr.
Good. And yeah, these are, I think, that are most of this. So yeah, so according to you, how fun the job is like. I'm sure it's very exciting and adventurous. I think most of the time I have watched a lot of YouTube videos and they've told them enormous things that once you're there, you're gonna love it no matter what you think of what you do. So it's, I just want to know your opinion. How is it, being a fresher in this field, it's just that thing. I just need positive vibes. So
Yeah,
how
well, look, I would say that it's not for nothing that Australia has been a place that people come to from all around the world to have a sort of personal development and working holiday adventure. It has a lot to offer people. It's an adventure and it's a challenge and it's something new and it's something different in another part of the world, in a second language, in a different climate, in a different cultural environment. There's a lot of things to adapt to in that environment. But honestly, the whether or not your career is in the type of farm work or farm roles that you're in or not almost doesn't matter. If it is, then of course it's experience building for your career line. But if it's not, then what it's teaching you, there are a whole load of transferable and non-specific, non-industry specific skills that come out of this. And the main one is the ability to adapt to new environment. Now, clearly there's a lot of adapting that needs to go on in this environment. But if you come here with that in mind as that's my objective, I'm coming here to learn how to adapt to a new environment, then it's a very strong motivation for all the challenges you will undoubtedly face. But it's a fantastic transferable skill that will apply to every single transition and change you make in your career throughout your life. Every single change of role, change of team, change of personnel, change of responsibility levels requires your awareness and your ability to adapt. And so that is the skill that you're practicing and the confidence that you gain. And I think this gap year type experience is super valuable to anybody at any stage for exactly those reasons. Once you realize that you can adapt to a new environment, you can take that confidence anywhere you want to go. It will be challenging for all those reasons that I mentioned a few moments ago. It will be socially and emotionally and physically and environmentally challenging, or at least it might be. You may find when you get here, it's just the most exciting thing that you've ever done. and you can't wipe the smile off your face. But there will be tough days, as there are in any workplace. And so don't expect there not to be. And when there are those tough days, it's very important to have a clear motivation as to what your long-term purpose is, and then focus on your immediate short-term goals, which are to do the job that the employer wants and to do it well and safely. And engage with the people around you. And that engaging with the people around you is super, super important. They need, your employer and the employer's team need to know you want to be there and you want to be part of that team. And you're willing to make efforts probably above and beyond, you know, the hours and the pay rate and things like that. You've got to give a little bit more than you take in these environments. That's definitely the Australian way. But once they know that you're there and that you're committed to doing the job, then you're a welcome part of the team, because at that point you'll be being useful and you'll be contributing. There is a temptation, particularly for younger working holiday makers, to sort of reach for the phone and reach back to home and say, "Mummy, it's difficult. What should I do?" And that's okay. Of course, you need to maintain contact with people at home, but it's important also to kind of take responsibility for your own performance and say, "Look, I know I'm in a tough place, but Mum, it's quite tough, but I'm okay. I know what I have to do about it. I have to focus on the people around me and make sure I do my job well. So look, I'll speak to you next Friday and give you an update of how it's going," and then put the phone down and focus on the people and the environment. Just before I started that 5-minute talk, you asked me for what my perspective is. In a nutshell, that is it. It takes it away from the specifics of agricultural work and so on, and more to what the, you know, the longer term gains from a working holiday experience are. But there you are. That's what I believe. I think those things are. I think that presents you both with the challenges and the motivations for doing it in one package. And I actually think the challenges are the same thing as the motivation. It's just different sides of the same coin.
No, you explained it pretty well. I think I'm very motivated enough. So yeah, I think yeah. And so the date I had chose, I think that date was not okay with. I
Yeah.
think the 3rd of April was not okay.
We need another arrival date, please, because that is the time of the school holidays when the farm is full of school children. So we need another date. It could be the week before or 2 weeks later.
Oh, 2 weeks later. I think it will be probably 17th or 18th if I'm not wrong.
17th of April is 2 weeks later, yes.
Got it. So I think you guys are pretty well. I think you have motivated me well enough. I'm really respecting you guys. I think you have explained everything which I couldn't find on anywhere else. So yeah, Ms. Joanna and Will have given me a very good thought process and everything.
I think everything
you-
is clear now in your
If
mind.
you guys have any questions, you know, you want to ask me or regarding something that you want to be cleared off, it's great.
Can I ask you just what is your motivation in 1 year's time? What do you want to say you have achieved? What do you want to say you've got out of this experience?
I think, you know, being of my age, we are craving for new experiences all the time, whether it's on a corporate job, on a desk job, or if it's an adventurous job. So whatever I will acquire, I will make sure that, you know, it goes with me a long time. So whether it's a farming job, whether it's in any field, I would say. So I think even if I'm enjoying, let's say I've never done this thing, but I have this passion where I really want to learn new things, that, you know, these things will stay with me. So if I'm enjoying, I think I'll go throughout this, my whole journey. So why not? Though I've never experienced it, so my point could be a little different here together. But I think the motivation I have right now, it's like, yeah, I'm going to go on a long way to this. So yes.
You come with a smile on your face like you have now, the
Yeah.
enthusiasm you have now, then you will be great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think the thing to say is that you know, there are some sort of initial entry requirements. The main one is a positive attitude and a willingness to learn, and you've just addressed both of those. There are various sort of physical, practical abilities that are required. You need to be reasonably fit and strong. You need to be capable of standing on your feet all day and of reasonable physical exertion in different heat environments, depending on the time of year and the nature of the task. You need to not be afraid of, hard physical work, dirt, muck, animals die sometimes, all that type of thing. There's a physical component. Practical skills, the ability to fix and mend, particularly fencing, but it could be water supplies or bits of machinery. And if not even if you don't have the ability to do those things now, the ability to learn them reasonably quickly, a degree of aptitude for these things is important. The ability to drive a manual vehicle and probably a small motorbike is very important. And again, even if you haven't done much of that, the ability to learn those things relatively quickly and safely. That kind of practical foundation is that foundation for practical skills is really important, because the essential nature of most farm work is practical. You've either got infrastructure or animals, or where infrastructure and animals meet. On the bigger properties, cattle stations and sheep stations, when you're handling the animals, then you're handling the animals, but most of the time they're out there doing their own thing, because that's what they do. There isn't day-to-day management that you might get on smaller, more closely held farms, which may be closer to your experience. But there is infrastructure, and there is the need to move things around, sort of logistical stuff, whether it's moving food or water or fencing or machinery or vehicles, and so on. All of that requires a practical sense. There are two other things that we mention, three actually, that we mention. One is the ability, your communication skills. You're a very animated person, which is good to see. That works here in Australia. In a physical environment, someone who nods and smiles and is physically in the room, and you can tell by their body language, their non-verbal communication, that's really important. The poker face doesn't help on a farm. It may be good in a financial negotiation or something, but it doesn't work on a farm. So we need to know that somebody's in the room with us. So the communication skills are important, not just the verbal communication. So the verbal communication was the second one. And I got so excited about the first two that I've forgotten the third, but it'll come back up. It'll come back up to my mind in a moment. It'll come to my mind in a moment.
No issues. No issues.
Mhm.
Okay. So, yeah, I think
So-
we are all on a great start then.
Yeah. So everything is clear, I think, in your mind right now, and you're ready to
I
rock.
think yeah, totally. I think you helped me a lot. Your videos on everything,
Thank you.
and both of them, I think, commendable job. I don't have anything to say right now. It's like I'm
Okay.
much more than clear. So
Sure.
I think it's much done.
Good. Okay. Well, look, if anything else comes up, then it's very good to speak and meet like this. It's a very good way to iron out any confusions and set expectations correctly. And to be honest, that I think is the main thing. It's having realistic expectations and being able to cope with the inevitable challenges and differences in, whatever you expect. It doesn't matter what I say here and now and how much reading you do, it's still going to be slightly different to what you expect when you get there. So the ability to deal with that difference and cope with it, adapt to it, as I said earlier on, is actually key. And ultimately you'll be dealing with what is rather than what you think there should be or what you imagined. And they may be quite close, but in some ways they'll almost certainly be different in some ways. And so being able to accept that is important, and then work with it and find a way to be positive for your employer. Your positive energy, this was the third point, bringing your positive energy and enthusiasm to every aspect of this makes all the difference. And it I suppose it ties very closely into the non-verbal communication, but it's a bit more than that. It's a positive enthusiasm for all aspects of it. And if we feel it at the training farm, then we can relay that on to the potential employers. And if the employer, when you get there, feels that positive sense of you wanting to be helpful, wanting to be a part of a team, a friendly, willing member who will do whatever it takes to make themselves useful, you will be giving the best of you to Australia, but you'll be getting the best back in the shortest possible time. There is a sort of informal 2 weeks of let's work each other out when you first arrive in the job, and that first couple of weeks is exactly that. That's your chance to impress. It's also the time when the cultural adaptation is at its greatest. That's when all the changes hit you hardest. Suddenly you're in a new country and the phone doesn't work in the way you're used to, and you're surrounded by new people in a new place with different food and different tasks and an accent that is difficult to understand, and so on. And so in that first 2 weeks, that's the time when I say, try not to pick up the phone to talk to mum or whoever back home too much. Focus on the job in that stage, and just trust that it comes good after that, because it does. And at that stage, you can sort of go, yeah, actually, this is starting to feel like like I belong here now. It's starting to make sense. I'm starting to understand. And at that point, you can stand a little bit taller and be a little bit proud of what you've already achieved by, starting that process of adapting. And so your confidence grows, so you can become a little more useful and a little more integrated. Yeah.
No, I think this was much needed for me. I think, yeah, that's really good to hear from someone, I don't even know, but it came out so beautifully that, yeah, I feel much appreciated right now. So thank you so much for that.
Well, you're welcome. If there's
thank you, Mr. Will, for being here, and thank you, Mrs. Joanna. Thank you, Mr. Himanshu. So hope everything is fine, right?
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah. तो फ्रेंड्स, ये था पॉडकास्ट, एक डिस्कशन ऑनलाइन विद ऑस्ट्रेलियंस जिन्होंने आपको जॉब देनी है, एंड उसके बाद डिस्कशन में सारा आपको उन्होंने बड़ा डिटेल में आपको समझा दिया है. एप्लीकेंट ने भी बहुत अच्छे क्वेश्चन पूछे, डेफिनेटली जो आपके एंड पे आपके दिमाग में भी होंगे. उन्होंने सबसे जो समरी है इस पूरे डिस्कशन का ये है कि फार्मिंग जॉब्स आपका अगर आपने करना चाहते हैं, ये ज़रूरी नहीं है कि आपके पास ट्रेनिंग हो, क्योंकि जो एप्लीकेंट था ये भी कॉर्पोरेट बैकग्राउंड से है, इनको कोई ट्रेनिंग नहीं है. बट हाँ, उनकी एक रिक्वायरमेंट है, यू शुड बी ऑलवेज़ विलिंग टू डू द वर्क. मतलब आपके अंदर विलिंगनेस होनी चाहिए काम सीखने की, काम करने की, और एक स्माइलिंग फेस आपके ऊपर हमेशा, मतलब पॉजिटिव एक्सप्रेशन रहना चाहिए. तो ये ऑस्ट्रेलियन कल्चर है. तो जो भी लोग वहाँ काम करते हैं मन से करें. ऐसा नहीं है कि आप कर रहे हो, आपकी बॉडी काम कर रही है, मुंह पे उदासी छाई हुई है. ये उन्होंने डिस्कस किया. एंड दिस एप्लीकेंट इज़ वेरी कॉन्फिडेंट, ऑलवेज हैप्पी मूड, क्वाइट कॉन्फिडेंट कि हालांकि उनको कोई बैकग्राउंड नहीं है, फिर भी ही इज़ वेरी कॉन्फिडेंट दैट ही विल लर्न. तो ये चीज़ ऑस्ट्रेलियंस को भी पसंद आती है, और ऐसे लोग काफ़ी आगे तक जाते हैं. बिकॉज जो स्टार्टिंग रेट होगा उसी पे ये स्टिक नहीं रहते हैं. डेफिनेटली जैसे आपकी प्रोग्रेस बढ़ती है, आपकी परफॉर्मेंस बढ़ती है, आपका पे रेट भी बढ़ता जाता है. एंड इट इज़ एज़ पर ऑस्ट्रेलियन स्टैंडर्ड्स जो मिलता है, एंड वेरी गुड अपॉर्चुनिटी. और इसके अंदर PR के बहुत चांसेस हैं. और इसके साथ साथ आप ये जॉब की प्रैक्टिकल ट्रेनिंग तो आपको मिलेगी, साथ में जॉब भी मिलेगी. और मैं आपको रिकमेंड करूँगा कि जैसे 4 महीने की स्टडी आपको इस वीज़ा पर अलाउड है, तो अगर आपने फार्मिंग में ही रहना है और PR पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से अगर आप सोच रहे हैं, तो डेफिनेटली 4 महीने का एक जो कोर्स है रिलेटेड टू फार्मिंग, शॉर्ट टर्म कोर्सेज स्टेफ भी करवाता है, तो वो आप डेफिनेटली ज़रूर करें साइड बाय साइड. क्योंकि अल्टीमेटली क्या होगा, आपके पास एक ऑस्ट्रेलियन स्पेशलाइजेशन आ जाएगी ऑन एजुकेशन साइड, प्लस ये प्रैक्टिकल एक्सपीरियंस आपके पास है ही. सो योर जो ऑप्शंस फॉर सेटलमेंट एज ए PR काफ़ी बढ़ जाएंगे. तो डेफिनेटली इट्स अ वेरी गुड टू डू थिंग. और मैं आपको रिकमेंड करूँगा कि काफ़ी हमारे पास अब क्वेश्चंस आते हैं. कई लोग ऑस्ट्रेलिया तो चले तो गए हैं, उनके पास जॉब नहीं है, दे आर लुकिंग फॉर एसेंशियल जॉब्स, उनको कुछ नहीं पता लग रहा है कैसे मूव ऑन करना है. सो दिस इज़ वन ऑफ द वे यू कैन डू इट। तो अगर आप इंटरेस्टेड हैं डेफिनेटली यू कैन हैव इट। बाकी सारे डाउट्स इसमें क्लियर हो गए हैं। बाकी जो भी एप्लीकेंट इस पैकेज को लेने से पहले इनके साथ डायरेक्ट डिस्कशन करना चाहता है, सो वी अरेंज दोज मीटिंग्स लाइक दिस। तो इन्होंने भी पहले इंटरेस्ट शो किया, देन ही हैड सम डाउट्स, तो हमने कहा वो डेफिनेटली हम आपके सॉल्व कर देंगे डायरेक्ट जब आपको फेस टू फेस बात होगी, जैसे इनकी हुई आप जैसे आपकी भी हो सकती है। और वंस यू आर वेरी कॉन्फिडेंट देन यू कैन प्रोसीड। तो होप आपको वीडियो अच्छा लगा होगा। लाइक शेयर सब्सक्राइब ज़रूर करें। थैंक यू वेरी मच।